Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Andy at Express IT Tech Tips. And today I'm going to be showing you how to replace the stock fans in the Synology RS3614 series. Now this guide will most likely be transferable to other models, but please go away and check your user guide or physically open up and check the requirements for the fans prior to carrying out this installation. Now my model needed a requirement of 80mm fans with PWM support. Now, I've always been a staple fan of Noctua Fans, so I was really pleased to find that Noctua have got this NF-A8 PWM solution for the rack mount device. Now, what I like about Noctua is, one, they're slightly different in design because they're brown, and also the bearings that they use in these seem to give these really good stabilization and longevity. Also, the noise levels are really quiet and the airflow is significantly better than most stock fans that you get in many devices. So I was really pleased to be able to take this opportunity to order some Noctua fans and install these. Now, I was keen to know, I've got no sponsorship at all with Noctua, so this is just my own personal opinion, but I would certainly recommend these, or maybe Be Quiet fans if there's an opportunity to use those as well. I use both of those models, particularly around the house. So, without further ado, stay tuned for the guide. Cheers. So here I have my Synology RS3614RPxs. Now with the stock fans, it was okay until I installed the 10 gig SFP card and I lose the option to put the device into quiet mode. So I needed to find a solution. I decided to solve the issue by swapping out the stock fans. This is done by removing the center quick access panel by pulling down on the black latches. Inside you will find four 80mm fans. Now I decided to replace these fans with the Noctua's NF-A8 PWM fans to replace these. The fan assemblies just simply lift out of the case, so removing all four, it's important to note you must replace all four on the Synology or it will fail to boot. Now looking at the fan assembly, you will need to remove the fan header before continuing. Now in true Blue Peter style, here is one I've done earlier. Now the reason I've done this is so that I've got a reference, particularly around the airflow and direction. Now you will notice on the Noctua fan, the cable length for the fan before the header is a lot longer. So when it comes to removing the fan header on the stock fan, this can be a little bit tricky, but you're best to wiggle it out gently from side to side. Alternatively, you can use a plastic pry tool to loosen the edges. Do not under any circumstances pull via the wires themselves, as this may cause damage. Having removed the header, the fan itself is just seated on four metal pin rods. You may be able to simply pull this off. I will just use a screwdriver to pry it away, being careful not to hit the fan fins. Now to determine the fan direction on this one, you will notice the assembly at the bottom has a longer base plate. And the arrow when it comes into focus is away from this, helping you with the direction for airflow. Finally, having removed the fan, we remove the Noctua from its packaging. There is a lot of additional accessories here will not be required on this installation, but keep hold of these in case you want to reuse the fan. Noctua also offer a 6-year guarantee on their fans, so maintaining the original packaging would be useful. Now again, looking at the reference fan, just to reacclimatise myself with the view of the Noctua label being upright, to the very bottom of the base plate, or the longer part of the base plate. Now, having identified the correct orientation, the first part is to feed the fan wire and header through. With plenty of slack, this is a lot easier than the original fan. And then just adjusting to the correct orientation, making sure the Noctua label is upright to the very longer part of the base plate. You'll be able to slide the Noctua fan over the 4 metal lugs. Please note though, however, because of the grommets that sit on the Noctua fan, this may have some resistance and it may need a little bit of adjusting to get them on, but eventually it will seat nicely. Repeat this exercise for all 4 fans, and then finally adding on the header with the correct orientation, as it can only go one way, to complete the installation. Now, Noctua fans also do come with a low noise adapter. Now, this reduces the maximum resolutions per minute, or RPM, from 2200 down to 1750. This is just a simple inline coupler installed as follows. I will not use this on my final installation, as I found the original fan at 2200 maximum RPM is more than enough from quiet point of view. Now, reinstallation of the fans is extremely simple. Having aligned them correctly, just simply slide the cage back into its original container, making sure that the gold nug gets into the connector. The only one that you may have some additional trouble with is the final one closest to the Molex connector, as this is down to cable management. Having moved the cable around though, it will simply slot in. The final element will be to reinstall the quick access release panel, which is just simply aligning the metal lugs, sliding it in, dropping it down and releasing.